You're about to learn how to move around the court just like the best tennis players in the world. They're able to do it by using different footwork patterns in different situations, and here's the main three that they use. This is a neutral stance, oftentimes called a square stance, because if you look at the angle that his feet are creating relative to the baseline, it's about 90 degrees. This is called an open stance because if Novak were to just stand up and face straight ahead in the same direction as his stance or his feet, he'd be open with the front of his body facing forwards towards the net. And this is called a closed stance because now his left foot is crossing over, closing him off from facing forward towards the net. There's more variations than just these basic three, but for today we're just going to stick with those three to keep things simple and to learn and get the ball rolling. And here's what they look like on the backhand side. Here's a neutral or square stance backhand because again his stance is setting up about a right angle relative to the baseline. Here's an open stance backhand because now the angle he's creating with his feet is opening up towards the net. And here's a closed stance backhand because the angle he's creating with his stance is now closing off away from the net. The reason why having all of these stances in your toolbox is so critical to your success is because they allow you to move in all different directions and hit all different kinds of shots while maintaining balance and control and solid connection with the ground to be able to push off for acceleration and strength of shot. So for example, for you right-handed players, this open stance forehand primarily utilizes the right foot for balance, strength, and pushing off the court to actually unwind and accelerate the racket. A square or closed stance forehand primarily utilizes the left foot to push off and maintain balance and control through the swing. On the backhand side, an open stance backhand primarily utilizes the left foot for stability and balance and driving off the court to accelerate into the ball. And a square or closed stance backhand primarily utilizes the right foot to use as an anchor into the court for balance and composure, and also to drive and push up off the court to generate more acceleration. Unfortunately, most everyday tennis players make their movement around the court very unnatural and clunky because they have a strong preference for either using their right foot or their left foot, regardless of if they're moving to the right or to the left or forward or backward, or whether they're hitting a forehand or a backhand. They don't have nearly as many tools in their toolkit because they haven't learned how to use both sides of their body. Let me show you exactly what I mean. So this is footage from a 3-5 match on YouTube, and we're going to look at a quick sample of shots. Here's a forehand hit from an open stance, which means the right foot is the predominant foot being used to load and unwind and maintain balance and control. On the next shot, this player hits a backhand with a very closed stance, which means, again, it's the right foot that's predominantly maintaining balance and control and in connection with the court to be able to push off and generate pace. Here's another backhand with a closed stance. Here's another forehand with an open stance. Here's another backhand with a closed stance. Here's another backhand with a closed stance. Here's another forehand with an open stance. Here's another forehand with an open stance. Another forehand with an open stance. Another backhand with a closed stance. Another backhand with a closed stance. And you get the idea. The right foot is the predominant foot creating balance and control and athletic composure, and also the predominant foot producing energy off of the ground and the court surface to create a little bit more acceleration, rotational force into the point of contact. When you're predominantly comfortable with one foot or the other, it severely limits you by what directions you can comfortably move and what shots you can comfortably hit. Now, to this player's credit, he does hit a square stance forehand here, which means it's his left foot that's predominantly balancing him and pushing off the court as he hits the ball. So he does have some ability to use his left foot. But in watching through the match play footage, which I'll link in the description down below, you'll see that he almost always, is probably 90-95% of the time, is using his right foot, which probably means he's right leg dominant. He's just more comfortable off his right leg than he is off his left leg. And that really paints him into a corner athletically as far as how he can comfortably respond to the wide range of different shots that he has to hit during a match. Being able to hit equally off your right foot and your left foot will make the game of tennis much easier, and so will making the right adjustments to your positioning and your targets, which is exactly what I'll show you how to do when you sign up for the free training at tennissecret.com. I'll show you how to minimize your errors, minimize your running, make the game much easier for you while simultaneously making the game much more challenging for your opponent. All you have to do is make some simple tweaks to where you stand and where you aim, and I'll lay the whole thing out for you so you have a foolproof plan A in your very next match. Go sign up for the free training at tennissecret.com. Next time you watch your favorite tennis player on TV, watch for all of these different variations that they do have available depending on the situation. Just for forehands, if they're moving forward, they're going to be able to hit off their right foot and their left foot. And a neutral ball that's just coming right down to the middle, they can hit off their right foot and their left foot. When they move wide to the right, if for a right-handed player's forehand, they can hit off their right foot or their left foot. Or when they're moving back because they're getting pushed away from the baseline, generally, they're going to be hitting off their right foot for a right-handed player. And then the whole thing repeats for backhands. They're able to move forward and hit off their right foot or their left foot. They're able to hit a neutral ball that's coming right down the middle from their right foot or their left foot, depending on how deep and how hard, how much time that they have with the incoming ball. They're also able to move wide left for a right-handed player and hit off their right foot or their left foot. And in general, when they get pushed back away from the baseline, you're going to see them hit off their left foot on the backhand side. World-class players have deliberately, consciously been trained by their coaches in their training environments to be able to respond in all of those different ways so that they can smoothly, athletically, and in balance respond no matter what type of situation they're put in, whether it's offense, neutral, or defense, from either side of their body being in contact with the ground, still come up with a solid competitive shot. Here's how you can start to do the very same thing for yourself without even having to go to a tennis court. At the end of the day, this is all about building confidence, coordination, strength, and balance, utilizing both sides of the body, both your right foot and your left foot, equally, if possible, for both your forehand and your backhand. And this is my favorite drill I've ever seen to train this, and I have to give full credit to Tomáš from Field Tennis. I'll link to the original video where I saw this drill from him over 7 years ago, and I think it's absolutely excellent, such a great idea. This is the steps coming up to my studio space. It's just the best place. It's like 5 degrees and snowing outside right now, so this is the best place I have to demonstrate this. So here's me coming up to the steps. I'm going to start off mimicking a righty forehand. I obviously don't have a racket. It would be better if I had more space to be able to swing. But what I'm doing here is training an open stance forehand. See how my right foot is what's being active? And I'm just simply planting my right foot, coiling my upper body, then pushing with my right foot as I uncoil my upper body. Then after I do a round of open stance forehands, I'm going to go back down to the bottom of the steps. And now I'm going to do a square stance or closed stance pattern. AKA now I'm using my left foot to go up the steps while I uncoil my upper body. I'm just practicing my balance and my coordination between my lower body and my upper body, driving off my left foot as I make my swing. Now I'm getting ready for backhands. And so this is starting off with my right foot, which is going to be a closed stance or a square stance backhand for a right-handed player. So I'm planting on my right foot, I'm coiling my upper body, and I'm pushing and driving up through my right foot while I unwind my upper body. Then I'm going to come back down the steps, and now I'm going to use my left foot to plant and stabilize myself, and then push while I unwind my upper body through the imaginary point of contact. So this would be an open stance backhand. This is hugely valuable. When you practice this at home, you're going to naturally feel a little bit more confidence and stability with one side or the other because we all are unbalanced. Like, nobody's equally balanced, strong, and coordinated with both sides. So use this little field drill. Again, big thank you to Tomáš from Field Tennis. I love his content and his coaching. And after you've practiced this, you can go to the court and just drop some balls to yourself and practice hitting off your right foot and your left foot on both your forehand side and your backhand side. Obviously, doing this in a dynamic, real-life situation, running back and forth, is super challenging. If you'd like to see more drills on how to develop this ability to hit off your right and left foot, let me know in the comments down below. I'm out of time for today in this video, but I'd love to share more if you're interested. And if you'd like to make the whole game of tennis much easier for you and harder for your opponents, make sure to go to tennissecret.com and grab that free training that will show you how to make half the number of errors in your very next match by making some simple adjustments to both your positioning and your targets. Thanks for watching today, and I'll catch you in the next video.